this reveals a golden opportunity for the San Antonio Spurs, as the Spurs are doing better than anyone ever expected without Wembanyama and Castle in the lineup, and trade rumors continue to escalate around this team that's looking to build towards the long-term future, and one team that has been off to a much rougher start than anticipated in New Orleans, well, their star player is in the center of all of the latest rumors, including a recent Bleacher Report article that links San Antonio to Trey Murphy III. We have to dive into this proposed trade and what it would mean for the San Antonio Spurs, but not just that, we have a couple notes on some other current Spurs who are doing some incredible things, and we'll actually start right there, and I want to just highlight De'Aaron Fox for a moment, and look, I know we all watched that game yesterday, 37 points, unbelievable night from him, but right now, like I mentioned earlier, the Spurs are doing so much better than anyone could have ever anticipated without Wembanyama and Castle, and really just a semi-healthy Dylan Harper who did what he needed to do. I mean, again, not the start he would have wanted coming off of that calf strain, but look, this game is more than just a game. Look, you all know what happened in this box score, but it's about the message that is sent to the rest of the roster and the guys that have gotten going that we really wanted to see get going. Now, Luke Cornett lowering his season field goal percentage breaks my heart. I gotta say, he's now only at 70%. It's crazy, but Fox and Devin Vassell are two guys that I absolutely need to discuss here, because De'Aaron Fox, like, look, we can see the 25, 4, and 6 assists, 50% shooting, 38 from 3. By the way, I told you he could shoot. I feel like I was taking crazy pills saying he couldn't. I knew when his pinky would get fixed it'd shoot. Maybe it's not sustainable, but for now, I'm holding my high ground. You guys know, if you've been watching this channel, that I swore up and down De'Aaron Fox would get back to some good shooting ways, but what's really impressive is since Wemby has left the lineup, of course, that gives more leeway to De'Aaron Fox to create the way he wants to create, and also there's a few games here without Stephon Castle. Now, we know a big problem this year is Fox and Wemby still haven't really gotten that chemistry together, but since Wemby's been out of the lineup, Fox is averaging 28.6 points, 6.8 assists, 3.8 rebounds in those 5 games, not to mention 64% true shooting, 50% from the field, and look at it, 41.2% from 3 on 7 attempts a game. And I know it's just a 5-game sample, but this is exactly, like, where would the Spurs be right now if we didn't have De'Aaron Fox, right? If we didn't have this max contract player, we'd probably be sitting around 500 wondering, oh my gosh, like, is Sochan really good enough? Is Vassell good enough? Are all these guys good enough? But we have Fox, and it's leading us to victories, including important games, like that game against the Blazers. Unbelievable stuff from him, but I also need to shout out Devin Vassell, of course. Look, 14 points a game on the season. I know we did a video, like, I'm still a Devin Vassell believer. You guys saw my video the other day, but a lot of people are starting to turn on him, but his performance yesterday, look, Vassell's a tough shot taker, and last game was a tough shot maker. 23 points. Without him, the Spurs probably don't win this game. 9 for 17 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3. Not forcing it from 3, which I love. He wasn't taking these crazy hard threes, so I needed to shout these guys out before I get into this next part of the video, because having the guys on this team buy into their role and do exactly what they need to do is what the Spurs are going to need to figure out longer term, right? And again, that comes down to the guards, like Castle, Harper, and Fox. We're going to see how they all coalesce and work together, and that's going to be its own challenge. But these wings as well, and which ones are going to be part of the plan long term, which ones are not, because, like, we look at the depth chart, a lot of these guys aren't going to be here when we're in our big championship window. Like, guys like Champagnie, Vassell, Keldon Johnson, they're all in the middle of trade talks one way or another. And the recent one here, coming from Bleacher Report, has a couple of these names, and I'm going to show you right now. Bleacher Report, article linked down below. Excuse me for a little stuffed up today, trying to get through this. Trey Murphy III and Saddiq Bey to the San Antonio Spurs for Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sochan, Carter Bryant, a 2026 second, a 2027 first, a 2028 second, and a 2031 first. So this is Bleacher Report looking at top 10 trade targets this season and making a good case for a trade for each of them. And their case for Trey Murphy, who naturally is that, well, look, he's having a fantastic season. We saw him drop over 40 points against San Antonio earlier this year. He is unbelievable, right? And so he's naturally, like, with a struggling Pelicans team, he's one of these guys every team wants, averaging 20 and 6 this year, 46% from the field, 37% from 3, and you know that would go up if he was on a team that could space the floor a little better and give him more opportunity. Now, well, not that he's not getting enough opportunity, but I mean, better looks is what I should say. And I feel like San Antonio is a great spot to start. But to me, I want you to take a moment, you can even pause the video here, grade this trade proposal for the San Antonio Spurs down below. Give me a letter grade. I want to see your reasoning and what you have down below. A, B, C, D, F. Tell me what you think from the Spurs perspective. I don't care about the Pelicans perspective. I'm not talking Pelicans. Go check out Pelicans Digest with Mel's if you want. Mel's on the mic doing a great job with Pelicans Digest. But to me, Saddiq Bey's actually having a good year too. And I've been saying since the start of the year, I've actually been saying for a long time that Trey Murphy is, to me, one of, if not the ideal fit in this Spurs lineup, with Wembanyama healthy, with Fox healthy, because he brings a bit of defense, he brings an incredible amount of offense, he's a very solid shooter. But the problem is the cost, right? And when you're looking at the Spurs and how they want to move forward, you still need that edge defensively. And when you're giving up guys like Jeremy Sochan and Carter Bryant, who is still so raw. Carter Bryant, to me, is a pretty big sticking point here. Like, look, I know he's not going to project to be an all-star, at least not in my mind. I think there's a world where he gets there, maybe his ceiling, but I don't think that's what his realistic projection is. I think his realistic projection is a solid 3-and-D rotation player with some great athleticism who can get some nice blocks and, some nice dunks. But the 2 first-round picks, right? Giving up Atlanta's 2027 first and a 2031 first via either us or Sacramento. 2 firsts, along with a first-round pick in Carter Bryant, along with a 9th overall pick in Jeremy Sochan, and Keldon Johnson as well, who's been incredible and very necessary off the bench for the Spurs this year. I start to wonder, right, what is my line for trading for a star like Trey Murphy? And look, in the NBA, if I'm taking a step back and I'm looking at big trade packages for great players, this is not too far off what these packages tend to go for, which is what's worrying to me, right? Like, to me, I look at this package and I'm like, no, hell no. I'm not giving up all that for Trey Murphy because there's no guarantee he's going to put up anywhere near those numbers. And on this team where we already have decent depth, you maybe move Devin Vassell to the bench, which is great, Trey Murphy to the starting lineup, and then your bench has Harper and Vassell and Cornette, and it's a nice bench, but you're still depleting a little bit of it, getting rid of Jeremy Sochan with that incredible defensive potential, getting rid of Keldon Johnson, who's been incredible on the glass, especially the O boards, big body, 58% from the field. Like, look, none of the parts that the Spurs would be giving up are equal to Trey Murphy, and I think we can all agree on that, right? Like, unless you're talking, oh, what if this first-round pick, like, even most lottery picks will not turn into this level of player in Trey Murphy, so you can at least take that. But to me, it's just too big of a package for a guy that is solid when he's kind of their top guy and playing with Zion. Like, he's great. He is objectively a great fit for the team. But I think if we're going to go after someone like that, you could find someone that fits almost as well for a cheaper price, right? Like Harrison Barnes right now. Now, I'm not necessarily comparing the two. I think they have similar level games. Similar style games, I should say. But Harrison Barnes has been playing decent defense this year. Mr. 100%, knocking down a lot of threes. His role playing has been great right now this year with the Spurs, who have needed that extra spacing. And look, adding a Trey Murphy could very well help. Again, getting rid of 2 guys who really aren't great three-point shooters in Sochan and Keldon Johnson for a guy who is, and a guy who can also play on the ball and create his own shot. That's great. But there is a certain level of, the team almost has too many mouths to feed then. So, look, I'm curious what you guys have to say. I think, personally, this trade package is too much. Like, I can't get on board with this if I'm the Spurs and I'm looking to go for Trey Murphy. But I love the idea as maybe as a starting point because I'm not opposed to trying to bring him into this team. And the fact that he's thrown into these trade proposals, I'm all for it. So I'd love to hear your thoughts down below on this. And if you would do it, listen, that'll do it for this episode. But hey, make sure you're subscribed. You made it 8 minutes into this video. We got videos like this every single day. Thank you for tuning in every single day. I've been your host, Josh Gosse. You know where to find me, and I'll catch you in the next one.